Welcome to the SLP Stress Management Podcast, your place to manage stress, reduce the risk of burnout, and find more balance in and out of your life as an SLP, and perhaps bring in some mindfulness to your speech sessions. I'm your host, Jessie Andrix, and today I'm going to share with you a quick tactile breathing technique you can use when you need to pause, regroup, or reset. We're also going to practice a quick meditation together, and I'm going to share some of my top ways to bring mindfulness into your speech sessions or your classroom. I am so excited to share this with you. Let's dive right in. So sometimes we just need to breathe. We just need a pause. We need a reset. We need to regroup. And what can help when you are feeling really frazzled or you want to be really mindful about it is to have some sort of tactile cue. This is great for you, and it's also something you could do with your older students. So what you can do is to use your fingers to kind of count out your breaths. So you could take 4 to 5 breaths with this. Press your index finger and thumb together, take a breath in, and a breath out. Middle finger, take a breath in and a breath out. Ring finger, take a breath in through your nose. Let it go. Little finger, press to your thumb. And then open your hand, take all your fingers, press them into your thumb, take a breath in. Take a breath out. So use this anytime that you or maybe your students or your clients need to regroup and to breathe, using those tactile cues to help you count it out and to really connect into that breath and that moment of calm and steadiness. Give it a try and let me know how it goes. Let's take a moment to meditate. Find yourself in a comfortable seat. If you are in a chair, have feet on the floor, or you can sit cross-legged. Or if you're on a cushion or the floor, go ahead and take that cross-legged seat. Feel your bottom or your feet pressing down. Crown of your head, top of your head lifting. So lots of space to breathe here. And that's what we're going to do in our practice today. We're going to practice something called belly breathing, which not only helps you to find a really deep, steady, full breath, which also happens to be a calming, steady, centering breath, but it gives you a tactile cue to actually feel that breath. So bring your hands right onto your belly. You can close your eyes here, let your shoulders drop away from the ears, sitting tall with lots of space to breathe. And this is something that you can do for yourself, or you can also use this with your students. So today, as you get settled, bring those hands to the belly. Start to take a breath in through your nose if you can. And exhale, just let that breath go. And again, breathing in, focusing first just on this breath. And after a few breaths, start to notice those hands. With each inhale, feel the belly pressing into the hands, those hands almost kind of rising. And as you exhale, feel the belly, the hands drawing back down. Inhale, fill up. And exhale, let go. Inhale, fill up. And exhale, feel that breath letting go. Just continue this at your own pace, your own breath, for 3 to 5 more rounds. Allowing those hands to really help you feel each inhale and exhale. So when we are in a calm and steady state, this is how our breath naturally flows. So we can begin to find it, to kind of train ourselves to be in this type of breathing. We can come back to that calm and steady state whenever we need to. Feeling more focused, more centered, and steady. Go ahead and just come back to your own breath pattern. You could even let your hands relax down into your lap. Take another breath here. Then open your eyes. Thank you for joining in this meditation practice today. Mindfulness is not something I ever learned about in my grad school years or training to be an SLP, and nothing that I even thought of using when I started out as an SLP in 2008. Yoga and mindfulness were things that I dabbled in and kind of kept a secret. Because they were hard to come by in my community and absolutely not talked about where I worked, let alone used in a classroom or speech room. But things have definitely changed since then, and as these have become more mainstream and the benefits of them are more well known, they're used more often. So last year, I started branching out and teaching some yoga classes for kids. I've been teaching yoga to adults for over a decade and never thought that I would bring it into teaching kids. But I started incorporating this into some of the things I was doing in my speech room and finding ways to use mindfulness in my speech sessions and teaching some full-on yoga classes outside of work. And just really sharing some strategies with others who wanted some of these tools too. This is actually what my new course, Mindfulness in Your Speech Room or Classroom, which is launching this September, is all about. And if you have ever thought about using these in your class or wondered how to incorporate them into a speech session, it's probably a lot easier and more fun than you ever imagined. So here are 5 mindfulness activities to use in your speech room or in your classroom. All right, so one type of activity or one activity you can use is to use a game. So if you like to play games in your therapy or class to maybe to help foster receptive language skills such as following directions or asking questions or answering questions, or with social pragmatic groups, or to build up some vocabulary, or just kind of as the fun activity positive moment at the end of your session, there are many ways to bring yoga and mindfulness in. So one way is to play a game like Simon Says or Yogi Says, using some yoga poses. So you could call out a pose and demonstrate it and see if they follow when you say Simon Says or Yogi Says or Teacher Says or Speech Says. And you could also try using some yoga dice and taking turns, maybe, seeing what kind of sequence comes up and practicing the words that you're used or using them in a sentence. And another fun game is to have a Hoberman sphere. This is one of those balls that looks like it's kind of like connects, putting it together, and it can expand as it's thrown into the air, and then it shrinks back down. And you could have students take some breaths with them or throw it to a friend and they name a pose, and then throw it to another student and create a sequence or something from that. It builds community, it works the brain, it creates play and fun, and it can be something new for your students. Another way to bring this in is through breathing breaks. So if you need something to help students find their focus or to like regain self-control or calm, breathing breaks can be really helpful. So you can use tactile cues like a hand on their chest or belly, or tracing something as they breathe, or a toy on their belly, or again that Hoberman sphere to breathe in and out, or a color changing app, a glitter jar. It can be so many different things, and you can use this as a pause that helps students to regroup, much like it does for adults. Another fun way that you can use this is to use the yoga poses and the names of the poses. So like if you're working on articulation or language skills, using yoga pose names can be a fun way to practice some of the sounds and to like build sentences. So write down a few on a board, talk about them, describe them, maybe demonstrate them or see if the students have ever heard of them, and use those. So you could also, instead of writing them on the board, you could grab some like yoga cards, like if you had a deck with some like a deck of yoga poses or something, or if the students wanted to just like, if they knew some and they could just call them out. But you could use this to practice the sounds, to build sentences, kind of taking those words and using them however you wanted to. Another way to use this is to check in. So not necessarily doing yoga or, like practicing practicing the words alongside a pose or even a set breathing technique, but to just have a moment to check in. So having a mindful moment when you first step into the class can be a great way to check in with students and help them get settled for the session, or having a moment where they know they can like raise their hand and check in if they're having a rough day and they just need to like take a pause and step back for a moment. So this could be something like coming in and taking a few deep breaths, getting settled before you begin, or choosing the color they feel that day, or shaking it out on a wiggly day, or maybe taking a break and going to a like calm or meditative corner in your room if someone is just feeling overwhelmed in that moment. Another way that you can bring this in is to use books. There are so many like mindfulness and yoga books. And if you would love to incorporate books into your speech therapy sessions, there are tons of these that you can use. And you could create activities, movement, vocabulary, articulation, whatever it might be from these. So you can search on Google or head to the library, or you can reach out to me for some suggestions. And personally, I like the I Am series by Susan Verde. So there are so many ways that you can infuse mindfulness and yoga into your speech sessions, either a little bit here and there or within the activity itself. They can help students to find a new way of learning, a new way of having fun, or just to get more settled and prepared for the session, shifting their brain for speech time. So which one do you think you are going to try? I'd love for you to share in the comments over at the blog or DM me on Instagram at Jessie Andrix. And if you are looking for more ways to incorporate this and learn more about it, then you'll want to make sure to get on the waitlist for my upcoming course, Mindfulness in Your Speech Room. It'll be launching this September, and if you sign up for the waitlist at the link below, you will be the first to know when doors will open for enrollment. You'll get early access and you'll snag a discount on enrollment. So head over to that link below, sign up for the waitlist, and I can't wait to see you in that course when it opens. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Love and light to you.